Good afternoon. How are you today? Boy, it's a hot and steamy one. There's no respite there at all. There's not a breeze. It's so hot and humid, but I hope you are enjoying your day and having nice, cool air conditioning to enjoy. So we'll get started in just 1 or 2 more minutes. Get myself all situated. Well, okay then. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Sharon Parento, and it is my joy to take you on a tour today of some condo properties available in Markham. It's been very interesting to watch as the real estate market starts to rebound, both in terms of the number of listings and the number of properties that are selling. And this is very evident in the condo market in Markham right now. Many of the properties that we are going to be looking at together are listed as holding back offers and not accepting offers before a particular date. That is an indication that the sellers think that they're going to get into a multiple offer situation and try to create a bidding war for their seller clients. So it's interesting as a marker of how much more active the market is becoming currently. I think people are recognizing that our current situation with the challenges that COVID present is not going to be quickly remedied. And if they want to jump into the market, this is a good time, specifically because of the affordability of the interest rates, and also that there is still a decline in the number of buyers who are out there compared to January, February. So, you know, they stand a better chance of getting a good value. So let's move forward, and I'm going to take you through just reintroduce myself as Sharon Parento, an agent with Keller Williams. And one of the things that really is core to our company's culture is the power of education. So this both in terms of Keller Williams and my own brand, which is the S.M.A.R.T Realty Solutions brand. We have endeavored right from the beginning to act as a consultant to people who are 12 to 24 months away from making a decision. Lots of times we encounter them when they're still just in the thinking and planning stage. And so we've developed a variety of strategies and tools and resources and services just to help people become very informed about what their options are. And I think that in the end, people make much better decisions when they have all the facts in front of them. So we endeavor to help you with that process. So part of that are doing these condo tours, and they're so beneficial to me as well, because it literally makes me a local expert in what's going on. So every week I'm looking at the condo activity in a particular neighborhood, studying it, choosing it, going through all of the different options so that I can present to you a cross section of what is currently available. So let's get started. One of the things we always cover is how to read an MLS sheet. We're going to go through this relatively quickly because this is familiar territory for some of you. But regardless, I just want to show you that in any of these MLS sheets that can come to you via email when you ask to be set up on a search, there's a lot of information that you can discover if you know how to kind of decode and pull this apart. So let's look at the list price. This is what the agent who is selling the property is currently asking for it. We have to differentiate between the list price, the fair market value price, and the eventual selling price. So those things are sometimes only in loose relationship. But regardless of this, in this example, they're asking $659. It's up to us as a team, buyer and buyer's agent, to decide what we think it's really worth and put in an offer accordingly. Taxes. We notice that in Markham and in lots of other municipalities that there is quite a divergence in the property taxes between older properties and new construction. It can vary quite a bit, almost maybe as much as 40%. And that's because many times when these older buildings were built, the property tax rate was at a much lower rate. And because it can only go up by so much per year, it's much lower as kind of a grandfathered rate than the current standard property tax rates that new construction is forced to pay. Maintenance fees, we're going to see again that these vary widely. Side-by-side buildings, not necessarily the identical building, but neighboring buildings can have maintenance fees that vary by as much as $200 or $300 a month. And there's a whole slew of reasons why that can be. But it is one of the factors that people need to consider in doing the numbers, crunching the numbers for their eventual downsize. So you might be saving quite a bit in terms of your property tax, moving from a detached home to a condo. And I know a lot of times people have a hard time accepting the idea of maintenance fees, but what really you have to think of is what's included, and make sure that you're comparing apples to apples as close as possible. For this property, there's a full complement of amenities, including things like a car wash and a gym. Sometimes there are indoor pools or outdoor pools, even crazy things like doggy spas, where you have a little place to wash your pet's feet before you come into the building. So all of these require upkeep and maintenance. So this is part of what your fee goes to. Of course, we also want to know what else is included in the maintenance in terms of utilities. Is everything included as it is here? All those Y's are indicating a yes, that this is what's included in the maintenance. And even things such as how many parking spots and whether or not you have a balcony or how big a balcony, all of these can factor into how much you pay. And I understand it requires a bit of a change in mind attitudes about it, but what you're really doing is you're paying to make sure that everything runs tickety-boo without a hitch, and that all the forecasted repairs and scheduled maintenance is being done on time. So in condos, they don't wait for things to break to replace them. They have a schedule of replacement for big ticket items like windows and boilers and balconies and all that kind of stuff, okay? So we want to make sure that we are comparing accurately what's included. Then we also want to think about things like how many bedrooms, how many washrooms, like that's all part of what you're going to be experiencing. So a lot of my clients are looking for 3 bedrooms, especially if they are a married couple. But I have to tell you, they're few and far between. We do actually have one on our tour today, but most frequently we see 2 bedrooms plus a den, and that den is an indescript other room, sometimes without a door. Maybe it's like a nook or a room, but without like a door that would shut it off properly like a bedroom. Doesn't mean you couldn't add doors, but it just means that this current configuration, it doesn't qualify as a bedroom. And the bathrooms are also very important. Most of them are going to include 1 tub and 1 shower at least. And most times we see an ensuite bathroom as part of the master bedroom. So that's important too. Now, a storage locker is very handy, and you can actually purchase them on, and when I was doing the Markham search this time, I saw that there was a storage locker for sale, and also a parking lot for sale, a parking space for sale. So sometimes in new buildings, they have a separate legal description and a separate title, but most of the time in the older buildings, they are something that is the exclusive use of a particular unit, but you can't buy or sell them separately. So that's the underground parking that we mentioned. Finding a unit that has 2 parking spots with it is lots of times quite tough, because they are an expensive upgrade when you're purchasing directly from the builder. What we'll see, and one of the examples is that there are 2 parking spots, but they are tandem. So rather than being side by side, it's a very long parking spot, single wide, but double deep. And that's obviously not as convenient if you are a 2-car family. So what happens if you are a 2-car family and the condo that you're interested in only has 1 parking spot? Well, that becomes kind of a private search between you and some other private owner in the building that wants to rent them out. And I'm going to say that most of the time you can find somebody who's willing to rent a parking spot to you. So the other thing we're going to see is the variance in the size. And what I am looking for is I've searched for between 450 and 900,000, a minimum of 1,000 square feet, and 2 bedrooms, 2 washrooms. But I have to tell you, condos in Markham can go up to 2,500 square feet. Like, there are some massive condos, but that's just not what most people are looking for, so we don't include them. We kind of try to pitch it to the average requirement, which is at least 1,000 square feet, 2 bedroom, 2 washroom, and we're going to see a few that are bigger, so that's important to notice. Then in this case, the agent has included in the description of the property the exact square footage, because as you can see, that's quite a range. 200 square feet on a condo, that's a big deal. So it is just a feature of the way we input the data for the MLS system. And it doesn't mean we can't find out how big the unit is. It just means we have to do a little bit of extra digging if the agent hasn't included that as part of their description. So then we get into some more of the advanced features, like how tall up do you want to be? We have condos available at the penthouse level, and today we're going to be looking at ground floor units as well. And again, there's no right or wrong. It's just, what do you prefer? And each option has its strengths and its weaknesses. For example, if you're up tall, lots of times it means you get a much better view and an unobstructed view. And you also escape a lot of the street noise if you're on the busier side of a building. If you, like, for example, if you're on the Young Street side of the building, the higher you go up, the quieter it tends to be. But on the other hand, there are people like me who could never be up tall. It would just make me constantly woozy. So there's no right or wrong. It's just what you like. And if you had a dog, for example, like I do, maybe part of the thing is you're looking for a ground floor unit so that you can take Pup out for his walks, and it'd be very convenient and not have to ride the elevators. So the other thing we can see is when we click on this gallery, this individual picture, it opens up a gallery of pictures, usually up to 40, that are going to include the suite and also the building amenities. So it gives you an idea of what the hallways look like, or the lobby, and it just kind of gives you a better feel for it. So that one picture is only one, in this case, of 40. We also want to pay attention to what direction we are facing. I actually have a client who is thinking of selling their condo because it's too bright and too warm, which to me is remarkable, but there are certain benefits of being on the various exposures, the various directions, depending on the building. In some cases, it really ruins your view to be on one side. You're literally overlooking train tracks or the top of a mall or something like that. But on the other side of the building, it's forest and trees and neighborhood. So we can select for these things, and we pay attention to what direction the units are facing. We're going to see a prime example of this in the Swan Lake condo that we look at. And then we have the description of all that the marketing piece that the agent has written up to try to tell you about the hidden features or the benefits or what's included and what's not included. Most times what you see is what you get, apart, of course, from personal furnishing. But usually all the light fixtures and window coverings are included. All of the appliances are included. People just are not moving appliances these days. So the same goes for you. When you sell your house, you'll be selling it usually with your appliances. And then there's some background information we can find out. Things like how many days on market has this property been? You can imagine that if it's been listed a long time, we would hope that the sellers would be a little more open to negotiating on the price. Oh, sorry. The other thing is the name of the seller. You don't see it, but I do. And in a couple of cases today, we are looking at estate sales or power of attorney sales. Again, these are opportunities to negotiate a better purchase price, because in the case of an estate sale, most of the time these don't have a mortgage. It's really just found money. But at the same time, the family is having to maintain it with paying the utilities, the property taxes, the maintenance. So they might be willing to take on a little bit of a lower price for a quick sale. Most of the time, the sellers are, just individual people, but even sometimes we run across condo sales where the bank has repossessed the property, in which case, there's a great opportunity for bargaining again there as well. So, and then finally, the last little bit that we look for is how they are organizing accepting offers. One of the things I mentioned to you is the idea that sometimes we will say no offers before a particular date. And in which case they're hoping that all the offers on that property will come in on the same day, and they'll be able to use the multiple offers as leverage to get a higher sale price. So not all of these have this, like by no means is this the majority of listings today, but we do run across it occasionally. And usually the second part of this deal is that if we see that they're not accepting offers until, July 13th or something like that, the price that they've listed is frequently lower than what they expect it to sell for. So basically in pricing strategies, you could price it at what you expect to achieve with maybe a little bit of negotiation room, or you can underprice it with the idea of attracting a lot of attention, and then it gets bid up and you get your fair market value anyway. So let's have a look at these a little more carefully. And I just want to show you that right now in all of Markham, and Markham is a huge geographical area, there's only 236 condos available. So there's not very much inventory. And most of those, or a lot of those, a third are condo townhouses. So when you take out the condo townhouses, there's only 171 condos. And when we start to reduce it even further to, this is the price range from 429,000 all the way up to 2.27 million. So that's a huge variance. When we narrow it down to 2 or 3 bedrooms, under 900,000 and 900 square feet or larger, there was only 65 to choose from in all of Markham. So that is not very many, is it? That's just a tiny number when you think of how many people would love to live in Markham. 65 for that whole huge area, not very many at all. That's why prices are remaining strong, even though we have COVID conditions. So you'll notice that a lot of the condos are stretched along Highway 7. This is the real core area for more higher density, but we have a few other areas popping up near Burr Oak, all along 9th Line and Burr Oak. There are lots of lower rise condos going in. So that's interesting. But most of what we're going to be seeing is along the Highway 7 corridor. So let's look at this. This is definitely in that Highway 7 corridor where they just seem to have burst forth a new little community there. And you're going to see that this condo at 33 Cox Boulevard is a very nice property. It's 1,300 square feet with a balcony. It has a locker and 1 parking, and we can see the list there from the building amenities section where it has the concierge, guest suites, indoor pool, party, meeting room, gym. Like all of these are what you would expect in new construction condos. We've got an east facing. Now, what I really like about this condo, unfortunately the picture is a little bit grainy, but we have a really interesting layout. It is the typical new construction layout in that it is a center, it's got a center open area of living and dining and kitchen with the split bedrooms. That's what we call it, a split bedroom design with a bedroom on either side. The major advantage to this is that there's no wasted space for hallways, or very little. You have a foyer, but most of the place that you are, the square footage that you have there is usable space. So I really like the idea that this is a ground floor unit. So this is included as our example of a ground floor unit, but you don't have any direct access to your unit from the ground floor because it's still off the ground. So you get a balcony, but you also get this kind of cool solarium feature. So it's the best of both worlds. We've seen that lots of times in the older condos, you have a solarium or you have a balcony. In this case, we have both kind of as a feature. I also like the kitchen layout. The kitchen is large and functional, but it doesn't cut off the other living area. So it does have this at the very front, by the front door, sorry. At the front door, we do have a den, which could be possibly a third bedroom. So there has been some recent renovations, including the flooring, and they redid the kitchen. The kitchen is actually very nice. So this building is just of the age where people are starting to renovate them. But you can see the picture there from the living room where we have the walkout to the balcony, and we're at ground level. So advantages, disadvantages. It is definitely going to be like you have the trees that you're looking at, and obviously no big elevator trips, you know, or if the elevator, God forbid, should break down, you still have that convenience, right? So we noticed that in the picture of this one washroom here, we still have a tub, but a walk-in shower. And in the other washroom, it's, I think it's just the shower. So this is very, very typical in some ways, but I like the fact that the kitchen has been upgraded, and I like a little bit of a different configuration with the balcony and solarium. So that's why I chose it. Now, this is in the same stretch. You can see that the price is a little higher. It's bumped up over 700, and I think it has been completely renovated, and I think that's one of the major reasons. So let's look at the pictures. It is a 2-bedroom and a den, plus 2 parking. We said that that was an expensive upgrade, plus a locker. And again, it's not the typical kitchen where you have this peninsula that cuts off the main living area, and really you end up having to walk around the peninsula all the time. It's a different layout that I'm going to show you. It's not a huge property, but I really like what they've done in terms of updating it and upgrading it. So what are the value added? This is not the cheapest condo we're looking at, but it's still good value. And I think that that's the point of what I wanted to include here, is that there is more than one way to measure value. The locker, the den, the 2 parking spots, the upgraded kitchen, all of those things are making this, in my mind, to be a really nice option. So you see how the kitchen is tucked away there? It makes so much more sense than having that peninsula jut out into the living area and kind of cut it off. So I think the picture on the bottom, which is the den, is a little misleading. It looks way more narrow than it probably is in real life. So anyways, it does have the French doors, so you can see that that would be a really good extra space. It could be an office, could be a den, could be a guest room, like whatever you wanted it to be. That's the best part of having the +1, is how multifunctional it is. So tall ceilings, big wide open windows, good exposure. This is obviously a nice light, bright, open, airy unit. Okay, so this one is again in that same stretch. And what we notice in this one is it is new construction. Here's the layout. I really love this building. This building is kind of fancy, okay? But here we have again, you really see the split layout where we've got completely different bedroom zones, right? We've got the master bedroom totally one end and the second bedroom right to the other end. And to me, that is great for privacy. It's great if you were to have like a second TV area or a guest bedroom or like a work from home space. And this being a corner unit means that you are getting twice the amount of natural light. You literally have twice as many windows on it. And in this case, we also have 2 separate balconies, which I think is really, really cool. And this one again has 2 parking and also a storage locker. I think this is the one that has the tandem parking. I'd have to double check, but we notice in this case, the maintenance is much lower than the neighboring building. So I like that idea that it's got all these great amenities, including a guest suite. A guest suite is really kind of a cool idea. It's like an oversized bedroom with a sitting area and a washroom that you can book for out-of-town guests, so that if you don't have the space in your own unit, that they can join you, can still be in the building with you. It's cheaper than a hotel. There's usually a security deposit, and then there is a cleaning fee. That's the way it's organized in most places. But this building is really a beautiful building. I've been in it. It's quite impressive. And it has concierge. A lot of the new buildings do have a concierge, and they're very good for receiving packages or welcoming guests or just general inquiries. They are also an expensive amenity, like even more expensive than a pool, because you figure you build a pool, you maintain a pool, like it's got a fixed cost. But with a concierge, it's something that is always, you know, an ongoing human resources cost. But lots of people really like the idea of a concierge, especially older folk. It makes them feel, you know, like more secure. And I would agree. I think it's definitely a nice feature. I'd love to see the rooftop garden. That would be fun. That would be very cool. So this is this unit, and you can see it is a little smaller than we normally include. It's definitely suited to just like probably a single person because of the restricted living space. But this is the benefit of having corner unit with the 2 balconies. So it's like very, very light and bright. And then we have that galley kitchen, which again is a variation on the theme. We don't see too many galley kitchens. Most of the time they have, as I mentioned, kind of more of an open feel. Some people really don't like the idea of looking at their kitchen all the time. And I kind of get that. Like if you have people over, you want the mess to stay in the kitchen and not be something that you are, you know, looking at from the dining area. So I just wanted to show you another example of new construction with a slightly different layout. There isn't too much variation available in the floor plans. They have a basic specificity that has to just, there's only minor changes available. Like, you know, if you're trying to fit in 2 bedrooms, 2 washrooms, kitchen, dining, living room, like there's not too many other ways of organizing the space, right? So this one is one of the ones that is holding back offers. So when we look at the price, it is actually one of the larger units, but the price is at least 50 to 75,000 under asking. So when I see that price and I see the fact that they are holding back offers, it means to me that they are trying to create a bidding war. And I would tell my clients, if they were participating in this, like if they wanted to put an offer in, I would tell them to expect to probably go 10% over asking. That's usually what we find. We find on average 10, 11% above asking is what they end up selling for. Not always. I mean, there's nothing saying that it's definitely going to sell for over asking, because it just depends how many offers they get. They might not get any offers, in which case the property, you know, is either going to be relisted at the new appropriate price, or it's going to be terminated. So when I booked this, so when I chose this yesterday, it was offer day. See, they were holding offers actually Monday night. I love this terrace area. That's a big value added. It's a 3-bedroom plus a den plus 2 tandem parking and a locker. So you can see that this is definitely not the correct asking price. Guess what? It didn't sell, and they actually terminated the listing this morning. So somebody probably convinced them to try the market. Whatever offer they got, they didn't like. Maybe they got no offers, and today it's not on the market. And guess what? It's not relisted. What they usually do is they terminate and relist, but I can see no evidence that they relisted it. What I like about this building too, and it's mentioned in the comments there, is that this has been operating as a condo for six or so years. I think this building is about 8 years old. We have a very good understanding of the financial track record of this corporation. Like, we know what the annual operating budget is. There's no guesswork, and we can also see how much maintenance has gone up over the years. So it's a very well revealed financial entity, right? In the process of full disclosure, when we purchase a condo, we want to know how healthy the corporation is as well. So in this case, we know there's been a track record. There's not going to be any unexpected increases likely. So that's a big deal. We noticed that the maintenance is, as I said, $200 more than the neighboring building, but that's also, like we said, there is 2 parking, the balcony, the locker, all of that factors into it. Plus, this is a larger unit. Okay, so this is, I just want to make sure I've got the right one going here. Yeah, so this is the one that they were holding back offers. It didn't sell or whatever. I do really like this idea of the breakfast bar. That's a very useful area. And the rest of the building, the rest of the unit is pretty nice as well. So it'd be interesting to see what they end up doing. Maybe they will take a break and then relist it. We'll have to I'll keep my eye open. I think it's a really nice size unit. It definitely contradicts the notion that new construction is small and boxy. I mean, this is almost 1,300 square feet. Like, that's a good size unit, right? It is a very good size unit. Okay, so now we are going to one of my favorite buildings because of the location. This is 25 Austin Drive, and this is known as Walden Pond, and it's right across the street from the mall. So we have 25 and 55 in the same neighborhood, and this is a huge condo. Look at the price, it's under $700,000. And that's because this is the first time this unit has ever been offered. This is the original owner, and it doesn't look like a huge amount has been done over the years, but look at it, it's 1,453 square feet of penthouse living. It has a sunroom, it has a balcony, and these principal rooms are huge. It has a proper formal dining area and also an actual laundry room, not like a laundry closet, but an actual room. So this is really a beautiful building. It's so nicely maintained. It has a lot of quiet, older residents in it. It even has a little community bus that pulls in. Not sure where it takes you. I think it might take you across to the mall, but I often see people out here sitting on these benches and chit-chatting away. So it's a really nice building. And you can see what this has to offer in terms of it just being like huge, but it also needs a pretty major renovation to maintain its value. At the very least, we're looking at a kitchen, 2 bathrooms, and flooring. You can decide if you wanted to pull down any walls, if you wanted to open up the kitchen, make it more open space. I definitely would take down those solarium doors and then just extend whatever new flooring in right into that new area. And that solarium actually makes a wonderful dining room. I've seen it done that way, where like once the doors are down in the renovation, it's a wonderful place to have a dining room set up in there. But it could also be an office or a computer room. I've seen it also used as a spare bedroom. But this is really an amazing opportunity at this price. Even if you were to spend what I estimate it would cost, probably between say $85,000 and $125,000. Let's just settle on $100,000 to do all of the work that would be required here. Even still, you would be ahead of the game, because these units, when they are fully renovated, are selling up into the $1 million mark, some of them even more. So at this price point, this is, first of all, what they are asking. Again, it's not necessarily what we would offer and not what you would pay, but it really has the makings of somebody, like a long-term solution. You could renovate it and customize it to what you wanted. We could have barrier-free washrooms installed so that there's no, accessibility issue as you age in place. And then being so close to all the shopping and everything it's a really great opportunity. So that's this unit here. And we have something completely different. This is brand new construction in a building that was designed to be very, very eco-friendly. So not only is the purchase price quite low, I mean, it's not a bargain, it's not a discount, but the major thing with this building is how low the maintenance fees are. Now, granted, this building is pretty basic in terms of its amenities. It has everything you need, nothing you don't need, but it's not fancy. It's not fancy like Austin is, 25 Austin Drive. That interior is fancy. This one, pretty plain Jane. But if that's not important to you, and what you're really mostly interested in is staying on a reasonable fixed monthly budget, this is a good option. There's 2 buildings kitty corner to each other that are both this eco-friendly, low maintenance. And you can see also that they're low rise. I had a client who moved from Markham into a ground floor unit on the other side of the building that was more like the courtyard. Very, very happy there. She just is thrilled. Her grandchildren come and visit. It's got a great location for transit for when you can't drive or you don't want to drive. And the unit itself is nicely presented. This is truly the power of staging and marketing, because there is another unit in the same building and the photography is terrible. It's dark, it's dreary. This one, they did a good job. It's been nicely staged, not overdone, but it shows you all the principal rooms in their best light, which is the purpose of staging, right? So this is a really good option for somebody who has concerns about, monthly costs getting out of hand. So that's the Markham unit at 7400 Markham Road. Like I said, there's another building, a kitty corner across the intersection, that has a similar setup, and they don't come up very often. You can imagine also that this is a really good investment property, again, because of the low maintenance fees. Okay, so we've started to include properties that are a little bit outside the norm. In the past, we've shown 2-story condos where they are a condo apartment, but they're on 2 stories. In this case, this is part of a stacked townhouse unit. But this unit, this 1 Blanche Lane 817, is all on 1 level. So it has all the features of a condo apartment in the sense that all the exterior maintenance is done. You have underground parking, and yeah, look at the maintenance fees again, very, very reasonable. All your utilities are separate. There are not very much by way of recreation, but this is a really cool alternative. And look at the price, super reasonable. This is actually a this is a new construction, and it is halfway, some of them, I don't know if this one is, but this is all on one, sorry, got crazy with my cursor there. This is all on one level. What happens is that with these stacked townhouses, there are at least 2 units stacked on top of each other. One of them is nothing but stairs, and the one on the lowest level is usually all on one level, like a typical apartment. So there are no stairs, except in this case, I think there are 7 stairs going down into the entrance. Yes, this one is just, this picture isn't quite accurate. I want to show you the next picture to show you what I mean. Ooh, we can't see it, but do you see these windows in the bedroom? Those are above grade windows, but it gives you an indication that the windows are up tall, because this property, if you were to look at that living room, it's actually got a full width of windows, but it's half a story subterranean. So you go down 7 stairs, and that's your unit. So you've got this big terrace, but you're kind of a little bit underground. And I've shown these, and some people have no problem at all with this idea. They really like the attractive price point. They like the low maintenance. It's got a good layout, good flow. The bedrooms are all at the back, and the living area is all at the front. And then there's other people who say, I don't want to live in a basement apartment, and they think that that's what it feels like to them. So again, there's not a right or a wrong here. It's just simply what you like, and whether or not that low purchase price is an attractive feature for you or not. But this is all new construction, new laminate flooring, nice washrooms, nice kitchen, everything there. And you do have underground parking. It's not accessible from your unit most times. There are a few of these townhouses where you do actually come in from your underground parking right to like a kind of like a basement. But in this case, you actually have to come up and out and walk around to your unit. So bit of a detraction, but on the other hand, you can park on the street, unload your groceries, and then go park your car. So I've seen these. They're popular. They're very popular with first-time buyers, as you can imagine, because it feels a little bit more like a home, being as part of a townhouse. Low density, low population. You're not in a big high-rise community. And then there is my favorite community. This is the Swan Lake community, and I've seen all different kinds of properties in here. We're looking at condo apartments today, but in Swan Lake, there is also condo townhouses. There are condo detached homes. They are so cute. They look like little cottages. Actually, they're not so little. They're quite big and quite expensive. But in this case, we are looking at a condo apartment, and you can see again, it's a good size, 1,128 square feet, 2-bedroom. And this is the case where the exposure, being on the south side of the building, is really what's holding this unit back from selling. It's been on the market 121 days. And even though this is a beautiful condo, I love the layout, it's overlooking that Central Drive Inn. Units on the other side of this building are overlooking trees and green yards and lawns and green belt, because there is a ton of green belt in Swan Lake. The properties are spread out very nicely, but this one, it doesn't have the greatest of view, and I think that's probably the main reason it's been on the market for so long. But you know, some people, that's not going to be a big issue. What I love about Swan Lake is the community feel. There are a lot of retired people there. As a matter of fact, there is an occupancy restriction that you can only have 2 adults or possibly a live-in caregiver. So it tends to be older people who live here, and it's very quiet, but still lots of good social activities. Like there is all kinds of activities on the bulletin boards by the elevators, everything from, well, before COVID, everything from bus trips down to Niagara to card nights to, you know, it's really a lovely place. And the recreation facilities are exquisite, like really super special, really, really nice. So one day maybe I'll get there too. So that's our condo tour. I hope you enjoyed it today. We'll be sending you a copy of this. Just want to encourage you, if you have not been to one of our other neighborhoods, to come out and join us there. We also are continuing with all of our seminars online as webinars. So I hope you will also sign up for those and come out. These are really popular and great learning opportunities. We're going to be sending you some resources to back up what we have shared with you today in terms of the PowerPoint and all the listings, so that you can have a closer look. And if you ever want to search them out, do you see this MLS number here, N4809910? You just simply type that into Google. It's like a 7-digit telephone number with the letter N for North at the front of it. You just put that into Google and it'll pull up this listing on multiple different websites that you can look at it more carefully. But we're also going to send you the links, and you can have a look as well. And then we have our 30-day decluttering challenge, where this is an email campaign where every day for 30 days you get a helpful tip and a task and some motivation, some inspiration, and the best of all, it's completely free. So it'll help you move through your home and get things done. We also offer property evaluations at any time. This is a great way to start the discussion in terms of what's my home worth, so that you know what you could possibly budget towards a condo and still have money left over. That's what most of my clients are looking to do. They're looking to net $200,000 to $300,000 difference between what they sell for and what they buy, and use that $200,000 to $300,000 to supplement their retirement and help them enjoy life now rather than just taking care of a house. And then we have our Facebook group, and this is a way of us keeping connected during these trying times, these challenging times. So we hope you'll join us there and be part of our extended family of clients and friends and family. Yeah. So thank you for that. It's been my pleasure to share all of this with you. And I welcome your questions. If you have any questions, it would be great to hear it. Let me just stop sharing for a minute. If you have any questions, this is the time. Or you can follow up with text or an email. That would be also great, however you wish. Okay, well, thank you again for joining us. My name is Sharon Parento, and please feel free to reach out if you'd like any more information about anything that you've seen today, or if you would like to take advantage of any of the offers that we are always happy to provide to you. No cost, no obligation. We just like being of service to you in ways that we hope will make a difference. So thank you. Have a wonderful day.